Forum
That's
on
right.
the One World, the role of India, China, and USA in fostering the One World concept. Could you describe the concept of global citizenship?
See, the world is becoming a united mission. Today, clearly the change in face of the world is on account of change in technology, globalization, and again re-regulation, and markets becomes integral. Territorial integrity is being challenged. The concept of one single world is ultimate solution for global prosperity in attaining future generation vision and execution. We need a peaceful world. We need to create a better world. We also need to create a borderless world. We also have to create cultural integration as one culture. That's the whole concept. Different parts of the world has got different culture. The heritage, civilization and culture needs to be integrated and bring in a mindset that we live in an interconnected world. That will create more integration, that will create more peace, that will also create more prosperity in terms of trade, investment, banking, finance, employment, growth. The world has to be, futuristic terms, better than the present. We need to create a better world, better citizens, so that our future generation will be better than the present.
So what is your belief on the single world concept?
I have a firm belief the world is changing, and this world is changing for good. Even the recent crisis in terms of financial services, which turned into be a global crisis, human crisis, is all for global prosperity. We need to eradicate extreme poverty. We need to bring in gender equality. We need to bring in environment sustainability. We need to create primary health care for all the citizens of the world. We also have to create, global prosperity in terms of peaceful society. And that's what the concept is. Technology drives the change and drives the global unity. Facebook, Twitter, social media networking today give more transparency. The more we are transparent, we create better partnership.
What about your ideas on the single global currency and on the developments in the Bitcoin?
That's a concept as on date. You cannot create a single currency unless political consensus comes. Each country has got twofold policy framework: monetary policy, which comes from the technocrats, central bankers, which is regulating the banking system; the fiscal policy, which comes from the finance ministry, which needs to be aligned in each domain. Now we are talking about global currency. Unless you have a global central bank, you cannot create a global currency. Attempts have been made by multiple pockets of the world. Now the recent development is a bit currency. Bit is network P2P, or without involving the central bank. That's not authentic. That's speculation. More and more the value of the bit has been degenerating. At one point of time this year, it quoted $1,300 one bit currency. Now it has come to 700. It is now construed as not authentic. More and more central banks are attacking this kind of evolution. They say it is not genuine, that is speculative. They are also instigating anti-money laundering actions to combat this single currency created without the central bank authentication. So while we need a currency, single currency, we have to bear in mind that it cannot come without a consensus among the developed and developing world. Today, Europe has created a single currency. Enlarge Europe as defined by Maastricht criteria. There are challenges. Cultural integration is not there. Unless we unite people, unite politically, you need political union to create a single currency. Then only technocrats can function in terms of global economics and create global currency by global makeup.
What is your outlook on global economy and the major economies?
Well, global economy is recovering. We all get the signals of it. America has done very well in the last quarter, 4.1%, and we also seen Europe has taken some of the measures while 2013 has been a year of consolidation. They can come together by political union as well as banking union. Still, long way to go in terms of aligning monetary policy and fiscal policy. Gulf states are doing very well. Oil price is coasting decent. Government expenditure drive the change. Emerging markets are doing extremely well. They are back in track. China has done well. Advanced economies, if we look at en bloc, that's going to do around 2%. And next year it will be better. 2014 will be between 2.5 to 3%. This is all subjective. Developing economies en bloc should do, inclusive of China, India, Russia, Brazil, should be not less than 5%. China is recovering well. India has done off late very well in terms of monetary policy. Fiscal consolidation is a challenge. 5% will be the growth for next year, between 5 to 5.5%. So there is prosperity. Again, with open market operations, quantitative easing, Japan is doing reasonably well. They won't have a 2 to 3% growth. So the signals are global growth is in the right modulation. Now it remains to be seen how politics and economics will converge to have further prosperity in terms of G20.
So how has the New World Order promoted international collaborations?
New World Order is an opportunity. We look at a crisis on one side, but we have to interpret the crisis as an opportunity. Why? Advanced economies, take for example, we are talking about three major phenomena here: India, China and United States. If we extrapolate today the global ranking, United States is $16 trillion economy, then comes China, 9 trillion plus, and again India is in the right direction. If you extrapolate to 2030, still China will command, and perhaps they will take #1 position in terms of GDP, unless equation changes by political consensus or huge productivity transformation take place. If they coast not less than 7%, by 2030 China will be #1, United States will be #2, India will be #3. By 2050, while the affluence cannot be diminished in United States, China will be still ranking #1, and there will be an oscillation between India and China. So you have huge prosperity among these three countries. Global partnership is evolving. India needs United States in terms of intellectual property, education, healthcare. America needs, again, India for support of business process outsourcing, knowledge process outsourcing, including, again, healthcare. Everyone needs China because China is the economic engine of the world today, still costing 7.5%. So there's a huge partnership evolving. India is doing almost $75 billion on an average trade with the United States, bilateral terms. China is doing over $550 billion. That's huge part of the overall bilateral traffic. That's where the partnership lies. That's where the opportunity lies. And if they work together, if they reach consensus in terms of politics and economics, they can create a better world. They can drive the change. We are living in a world which is unequal, unfair. We have to bring the change to become more social change so that we can create a better world. World is becoming a fair play.
How do you think Asia will come together to contribute in collaborations?
Like Europe, Asia has to come together. This is emerging to be a stronger, productive destination. Incrementally, Asia is, or emerging markets are producing 60% of the incremental GDP. They have the key in their hand. They can come together. They can issue economic collaborations, partnerships. They have recently pronounced $100 billion development bank for the BRIC countries. That's a significant development. In Asia is the real change as a catalyst with so much populations, but in India and China, they can generate sufficient capacity to market space. I can invite the rest of the world to converge in terms of productivity, performance, trade, banking, finance, and investments. So within the intra-Asian partnership, if we are going to have a policy union, then we can create a currency as one. We can create more intra-traffic within Asia for trade. We can buy and sell based on the strengths of the individual domain. We can create investment partnership. We can create joint ventures. We can create better prosperity within Asia. Then they operate as one force, one United States, one Europe, one Asia. Then global partnership becomes much more meaningful.
Thank you for your insights, Dr.